One statement about last year, obviously I still want to thank Ciola, Terrell, Jack helped, and Don McAvoy, for their contribution. When we started 5 years ago, the goal was to win a championship. And a lot goes into that. A lot goes into what you guys do. You've all laid foundations in your jobs and what you do and how much you sacrifice, and they put a lot into that and laid a foundation. We also said we wanted to build a program, not a season. So, and really, to win the regular season, I almost value those things more. I know the world doesn't. The NCAA is the ultimate goal. But that shows that you were good over 3 months. And even to win it when Terrell went down was just tremendous for like Ciola and those guys to win those last 2 home games. Because when Terrell went down, let's be honest, there went kind of our NCAA hopes. He's the first team All-League Defensive Player of the Year. So, but I want to thank those guys, and now last year's in the rearview mirror. But I think it gave us a foundation. It gave us the thing you have to have a good program. It gave us interest. And you have to have interest. And so we hope we can build on that interest. Now this year is a new year. 12 home games, 14 road games, I think, 3 neutral. So it's going to be a little bit of a different, hard schedule. And really the question is, for me, we'll never change our identity. That's what we have to do. It's funny you asked about the fouls. Well, I'll just finish the statement. You can ask questions. But we're not going to change that. But I think the real challenge is for those players you just talked to, with Adam Link, who's done great. But it is for Michael and Jordan and Remy, and because it's a lot different going from a contributor to an impact. And really that's the challenge. Now they're all really have gotten off to a good start. And we recruit character, and they shown their character, and they surrendered to our identity, which you have to do. That's the hardest thing in coaching. Jordan is running our team. Remy is, going to take more of a scoring role. Adam is going to be more versatile. He's been aggressive, and Michael's doing the things he has to do. He's lost a lot of weight, so he can play more minutes. But that's the real key. Their discipline, their effort, their toughness will be really the guiding factors for our season. So, but otherwise, everything else will stay the same. Want to be great defensively, take care of the ball, take good shots, and rebound.
Is Remy back practicing?
Some. College basketball is so difficult, and we're not the only ones. I was talking to Saul Phillips at North Dakota State. And he had that with Taylor Brown. He's going, I leave practice every day feeling a little discouraged because it's not what I want out of practice, but I'm trying to help him get through it. And we did that with Ciola. So we managed Ciola, and he managed it last year a lot. So Remy's been back. He's the kind of athlete that, can stay sharp. He doesn't get way out of shape. If Michael missed that much practice, he'd be going 290. So, but Remy's the type that he hasn't been back much, but I think he'll be back for the first game. And we had other injuries. Mo Condi, our junior college transfer, has really not practiced. He didn't dive for a loose ball. One of our other guys, Mike McColzak, dives on his ankle, high ankle sprain. He's been out 3 or 4 weeks. So I told him, you don't dive on a loose ball, you're out 4 weeks. But that's hurt us. So we've had players in and out, but I think everybody has the same issues in college basketball now.
You have so many young players. Is the plan to throw them to the fire right away, or do you want to bring them along slowly?
3 road games at Idaho, at Nebraska, and at Pacific. Got good news today. The Nebraska game is not on the Big Ten channel. So I'm just kidding. But that'll throw them into the fire. I think the next step for us, we've won a regular season. We have to figure out how to recruit, how to do this to get to the NCAA tournament. Our goal is always to win a championship, but that's the next step. And so really the early schedule probably is going to challenge them a lot. We're going to have to keep their confidence up because you have six newcomers. And I wrote them down because I don't know them all. Mo Condi, Tate Stensgaard, Garrett Covington, and Jabari Sandifer are 2 freshmen. The other 2 were junior college. And then Mike McColzak and Travis are freshmen too. So young group, but I think they've gotten some good leadership. And, you know, I always say that Bible verse, in all work there's profit. And we just work them hard. We keep working them. Because I think work really leads to confidence. And I always tell these guys, I don't care what your personality is. Whoever does the work has the power. I don't care if it's in a team, an organization, in a conference. Whoever does the work usually has the power. They're the ones that are going to show up the best.
Exactly how has realizing that those seniors from last year gone, how has that helped guys like Michael and Remy and Jordan step up as leaders for this team?
Well, I think they're excited. They're excited. But, you know, the other thing I read on the board all the time is I think they have great intentions. But as you know, young people today, they judge you by your actions and themselves by their intentions. I was telling my kids that. But I think I'm more pleased at the way they worked. Because I was right on the board. You are what you do, period. Doesn't matter what you say, what you think. You are what you do. And I think they've tried to show them through their effort. They've been out there at practice a lot. They're doing well. Our best guard, really, though, is Wade Hokinson. He's had a great preseason. He's not our best guard by far. He's shooting a little too much, to be honest with you. But we've had to fill in with those things. And but I think those guys have tried to show them through their example. And, you know, you don't want to be the exception. You don't want to be the exception. You want to be the example. So I think they're trying to do that.
You mentioned Adam being a little bit more versatile. He was a guy who guarded 4 positions at times last year on defense and had to play 3 or 4 positions on offense. What more can you expect from him to do, and would you rather him just have that one defined role and just play that role?
Well, no, that's a great point. I think first, Adam is and I say this stuff, and I don't want to jinx him, get him hurt, but he's a special athlete. I mean, he's bionic. You know, I mean, he's done a great job. He majors in pharmacy. He's taken all chemistry courses. He's going to really prescribe the Serbian when I get older, Lipitor and antidepressants and all those things. But we were very good last year when he stepped in and was the 5-some. So you're right, because we pick and roll. He rolls hard to the basket. So he will play the 5-4-3. He will play all those positions. And he's been very aggressive. And I've really told him to shoot. So, and he's getting a little more comfortable with that. I don't give him enough credit last year. He averaged 10 points, shot 50%. So he's had a tremendous preseason. And so he is very, very key. But he will play all those positions. But he's not a verbal leader.
Jordan mentioned playing faster. How do you go about reconciling a little bit of faster offense with the defense?
Yeah. Jordan said that? Really? So I think Jordan and Jabari are much different than Cielo. Look, Cielo was a tremendous point guard, one of the best I've ever been around. But I think he was much more of a half-court, preserving his energy, which he should have, had 2 ACLs. But I think, we could push a little more. Jordan and Jabari will be ones that will get the ball out more. We were one of the lower teams in possessions in the country last year. Might have been the lowest. But a lot of that's because of our defense. And I keep telling people, when you play the pack defense like we do, which basically, you shrink the court up, it takes the other team a longer time to get a shot. And so what happens is the possessions are naturally limited. Where most teams might get a shot up in 1 or 2 passes, if you play it well, it's going to take them 5 or 6 passes. So the shot clock keeps going down. And that's why, we're not a high possession team. So but I do think we have more speed and, different style of player doing that. So we'll try to be aggressive and do what we do. But the other thing is fouling. You asked about fouling. I ask every game I tell the referees I'm on the rules committee, and they kind of look at me and I just tell them that. But the one plaque we got, did you bring that plaque? We got the plaque. We won a national championship. I want you to know this. The fewest fouls in the country. So I've heard there's been a lot of fouls called more now early, but see that? Isn't that nice? 12 fouls a game. So we teach not to foul. We have, when you have few possessions and you pack your defense and you don't steal the ball. But, that was the big, of our meeting last year, the rules committee, the big thing is, and they all say this, we're going to slow down fouls. We're going to let people cut without any impediments. We're going to let them dribble. But trust me, once one of those elite coaches starts screaming about that, that's all going out the window. So, I mean, it'll be that way in November, but then it'll get back as time goes on, that it's going to still be a very physical game.
Are the young guys picking up on the defense? The new guys?
A little better, some, but the older guys are much better. But some. You know, the devil's in the details, and everyone has an assignment. And basketball is a game I always tell them, you got to get to the right spot offensively, defensively, and then you start playing. But it's a lot harder to make someone unselfish that's young on defense than it is offense, because they've always come in the huddle, their parents is up there, you know, tell them to shoot every time and tell them to stop their man. Or it's just the opposite. Move without the ball and help your teammates. So they're picking up some quicker than others. But when you see the ones that are back, Jason, Jordan, Mike, Remy, Adam, you know, they get it more. They've been doing it more, you know, lot more routine.
Well, how important is Jordan from a floor leader perspective and just kind of setting things up?
Well, I think your point guard's very important. Jordan's very important. Jordan contributed greatly last year. I mean, you know, we see these tapes. That's all I do is watch tape. When I can't sleep at night, I put on my offense. I'm done. Sleep in about 15 minutes. But all kidding aside, Jordan helped win games last year. People don't remember, he was the guy that was guarding the guy that missed the shot, the last shot. Mitchell, I think was named in South Dakota. He had a big shot against North Dakota State. Big Mike contributed greatly. You know, he stole the ball, went down there like a ballerina, laid it in, and made the free throw. I mean, all these guys contributed greatly. You know, and I kid, and Remy obviously created his own shot. Adam. So they're all important. Now the question is, can they do it for 30 minutes or 25 minutes? And that's a really big challenge. So, but I want to tell you, and I'm not taking pressure off. These jobs are kind of cycles. You know, we don't get a lot of junior college guys. So the guys who have been here, they need to step up and be the impact. You know, we don't take a lot of transfers. I'm not against that. I probably should look at that more. But we haven't done that, so it puts a lot more pressure on the ones that have been here to step up. But I think this cycle will be one, you know, I'm not saying to win 11 in a row would be very difficult, but hopefully we get more confident, we keep getting better, we play a tough schedule, because the ultimate goal is to be ready in March for those 3 games. But if I wanted to learn about transfers, I could just go talk to JD. He's very good at it. You know I couldn't let that slide by, JD.
You dress a lot better than
No, not at all. I love working with JD, Seth, and those guys. I'm just saying the women's program has been great to be around. And I think both programs really enjoy each other's company a great deal. Anything else? Well, I want to thank you guys. I mean, really, you stayed with us in the down times. Everybody I saw last year just didn't show up when we started winning. You were there when we were all those games where we had, you know, maybe 500 people. And so now, you know, I really appreciate that. I appreciate that. So thank you for all your support and creating some interest. And hopefully we can keep these crowds going. That's the other big thing. You know, we need to really keep the crowds going, and because you don't win at home if you don't have a good home court advantage. And really, you're going to do it with students here. You're not going to do it with the town. You're going to do it with students, so we need to keep doing that.